Welcome, everybody, to the 2021 APBA Hall of Champions Awards Banquet. 2021 has been an action-packed season so far, with over 150 races, over 9 regions, 16 categories, 11 driving schools, and 2,600 active APBA members. It takes a whole community to make each and every one of those events happen. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes before, during, and after each race to make it happen. Race directors, officials, referees, scorers, inspectors, race rescue turn judges, board members, the local community, of course our sponsors, and we can't forget all of our volunteers. We all share a common passion for hydroplane racing, whether it be any shape, size, and speeds. We've passed this passion on to our second, third, and even our fourth generation drivers are hitting the water these days. We've also passed those on to our friends, our neighbors, and our race fans. It's been a busy week of meetings, gatherings, and of course, the banquets. All of those wouldn't be happening without all of our sponsors, and APBA would like to thank all the sponsors. APBA Historical Society, Woodshed Embroidery, H1 Unlimited, Rick Felson and Hawk Race Consultants, Fernando Boat Replicas, we all have one of those, PowerMist Racing Products, Powerboat Nationals, TCA Graphics, Powerboat P1 USA LLC, Lewis Custom Hydros, Marine Prop Riders, Southern Maryland Boat Club, KB Marine, Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing, Jesse Stitches, J. Schwartz Photography, Champions Park Lake, Tacoma Speedboat, Besser Health, Gleason Racing Photography, Ulsh Racing, Pier 121 Marine, Elite Courier Services LLC, Stardust Racing, Marty Brault Photography, Chris Kenner Racing Specialties, Eric Peterson Memorial Foundation, and Prism Graphics. Many of us have spent countless hours and many days traveling across the states going from race to race. We've been rewarded with many stories, great victories, close races, and for many of us, a whole new chapter of memories we'll cherish forever. Tonight we're gathered here to reminisce and share those stories we've collected over the 2021 season. We are also here to honor and celebrate our Honor Squad inductees, Hall of Champion inductees, Charles D. Strang and Don Allen Award winners. In 1953, one of the highest honors of APBA awards programs was established to recognize outstanding individuals who've made a distinguished contribution to the sport of powerboat racing. Each year, 2 inductees are voted in and inducted by the Honor Squadron Committee. At this time, I'd like to ask Ann Fitzgerald to please come up to the stage to present the Honor Squadron Awards.
Thank you, Kay. Before we get started, we have a number of Honor Squadron members in the audience, and I'd like you to come to the front here. We have some chairs, and as they come up, you'll recognize all of them. And I'd like to have all of you give them a hand, because when you take a look at these people, they continue to serve APBA. They don't just rest on their laurels. They're still active in committee work, positions. They're still out there doing everything they can for APBA. You have enough chairs? Okay. I'd also like to thank the president for allowing me to continue to be a chairman of a really special committee. It's really neat to be part of a process where we're honoring people that do so much for our organization. Our committee is Dee Berghauer, Bruce Broussard, Stephen David, Fred Hallenstein, Bobby Moore, Sally Titus, and Mark Weber. It's a great committee to work with. Okay, we're going to watch some video now for our first inductee, so we can let that roll. Anne-Marie Shaw. Anne-Marie Shaw has devoted much of her life to improving our sport, sharing her passion with her family and friends. Although Anne has never raced a boat, she has been an asset nationally and regionally, serving in many capacities. Anne has been a member of APBA for over 40 years. During that time, she has been a chief scorer for many categories. She knew that helping in the pits was not for her, so she volunteered at a race to help the scorer on the starting line as a rider and a caller. Then she found herself doing registration, and within just a few races, she was training to be a chief scorer. With that, she found her niche and has continued to score for over 40 years, primarily for the inboards, but she has also scored for many other categories and combined category events. Nationally, Anne has been a member of APBA Scoring Committee for over 10 years. Also, APBA Chief Scorer over 5 years. And she has assisted and trained many other scorers throughout her career. All this has won her both the Inboard Scorers Award and the National Scorers Award. When Anne is not scoring, she has been the Assistant Risk Manager for both inboard and some unlimited races. Regionally, Anne has served Region 3 administratively. After being Vice Chairman for a few years, she went on to serve as Region Chairman for over 20 years. Region 3 has recognized her service with the Tony Scortine Award and also the Man of the Year Award in 2006. She has served many racing clubs in her 40-plus APBA years. In Northern New Jersey, Lake Pacon Racing Association and Greenwood Lake Racing Association, where she served as secretary and treasurer. After moving to Delaware, she immediately got involved with their local club, the Kent Narrows Racing Association, where she handles the sanction and insurance applications for the club. Her service is never limited to scoring at race sites. She pitches in with registration, event setup, breakdown, wherever she is needed. Anne has shared her passion for the sport with her husband and children, and is very proud that they support APBA as well, locally and nationally. She and her husband, Dave Shaw, just a few more comments here, have instilled the importance of giving to the racing community, and that we all know is really important for the future of APBA. We are here to honor Anne Shaw for what she has done for APBA in the past, what she currently does, and what she will continue to do for many years. Congratulations, Anne-Marie Shaw. You are now part of the Honor Squadron.
Thank you, Anne, for the honor of being selected. I am humbled to have my services recognized in this way by the Honor Squadron Committee and APBA. It is hard to describe how honored I am. Actually, I'm speechless. Never thought I would be considered for this award. I just do what I love to do and what the family loves to do. I thank my husband, David, for introducing me to the sport while we were first dating many, many years ago. My son, Richard, Caitlin, and John, who were told they could begin racing as long as they remained on the honor roll when they started school. I guess I'm still working on this as their goal. I am happy that they have strived to do their best in everything they do, as well as their spouses, Lauren, Chris, and Rachel, who are the major part of our team always willing to help wherever needed. Chris is also involved as a respected owner, driver, and at times races against Caitlin and her twin brother John. As Caitlin mentioned in her nomination, I am not one to work on a boat or hold in the water for hours. I will make sure that the team is fed, hydrated, as long as I'm not hiding in the porta-john. In the beginning, I'd get so nervous when the kids were on the water, I'd go hide until the heat was over. Now I just cringe and hold my breath. I am thankful for all the friends I have made through these years of racing. I have been a scorer and have enjoyed working the line with many girls. I have met many awesome people and have many wonderful memories. I guess I found my niche. Thank you all for being here to share this evening.
Ann shares her honor with her husband Dave, who we have inducted before, and John and Richard and Caitlin, who I think all of you know are just as active in APBA. And as I said before, that's really the future of our organization. Okay, we'll give Ann a little time there to go through our line of Honor Squadron people. And while Ann is going through the line, I would like all of you to look around, go back to your regions, and think about other people that should be nominated for Honor Squadron. There are so many out there, and it takes a little bit of homework. I need the nominations by October 1. And let's do that homework and get some other people nominated for next year. All right, let's continue on with our next nominee, inductee, Jeff Brewster. Jeff Brewster is a second-generation boat racer who has been active in APBA for 49 years. Since then, he has compiled an impressive record of service at the club, regional, and national levels. Jeff started out racing J classes several decades ago and moved on to race successfully in other classes. He has also won the friendship of many, always willing to learn to loan a competitor equipment, parts, or supplies. Along the way, he did every task imaginable to help or promote boat racing, scoring on the judges' stand, inspecting, refereeing, pulling patrol boat duty, packing and towing club trailers, and cleaning up the pits after the races. On the local level, Jeff has a long history of service to Three Rivers Outboard Racing Association, serving on its board of directors, taking on positions as Commodore, race director, and referee. Then in the late 90s, he became involved nationally as a stock outboard commissioner, and soon afterward, he was voted in as stock outboard chairman. It is in this position that Jeff has made major contributions. With an unflinching demeanor, Jeff has held the line on his directives and kept the stock outboard racing program on track with his vision to guide his category through many issues, rule changes, and improvements. He has worked on rule restructuring, new driver recruitment, official recruitment, and manages to work on many committees. In his first years as chairman, he implemented an aggressive promotional campaign utilizing social media and producing brochures, posters, banners, and boat decals to give more identity to his category. The next step under his leadership was probably his boldest move. He was the driving force to conceptualize, create, and promote the 300 SSH entry-level class with a strictly stock sealed engine and a stock propeller. The 300 SSH class in 8 seasons has become one of the top classes in the category. In his commitment to build the class, he designated a new region each year and supported that region with motors, boats, and safety equipment. Then he put new drivers in those boats. His initiative has resulted in dozens of new drivers and members for APBA. There are over 90 300 SSH motors all over the United States and Canada. In addition, Jeff has also promoted the Sidewinder engine, replacing the OMC in the A-stock class and providing more readily available engines and equipment for the B25 and 15 SS classes. Jeff took on the task of restrictor plate development and experimentation to the Mercury 25XS to obtain parity in the BSH class with the Yamatos. This helped to increase popularity of the class by allowing several models of motors to compete equally in the BSH class. That class is now hugely popular due to the fact that in any race, either the Mercury or the Yamato can win. And this takes advantage of the large numbers of Yamatas already in racers' hands. Then the rule book. In 2015, Jeff spent countless hours separating the stock outboard rules from the all-in-one rule book. The result was a clearer document for racers and officials. Jeff's vision improved inspectors' ability to enforce rules because of the increased clarity. He has kept the stock outboard inspection manual up to date that includes amendments, additions, and deletions of any of the stock outboard rules. Jeff worked with the safety committee to introduce several requirements that significantly enhance the safety of drivers. Those contributions include rounded sponson tips for hydroplanes to reduce the severity of injury in case of a collision, and the requirement of impact material in life jackets to protect drivers' torsos. Jeff has continued to play leadership roles in APBA at large. While serving as stock outboard chair, he was elected several years by his fellow category chairs as their representative to the APBA Board of Directors. Jeff has seen the movement of stock drivers into other categories, such as the Unlimiteds and inboard classes. To support these drivers, he has made a point to attend those category events and display his own equipment and promote both APBA and stock outboard. In summary, Jeff has had vision, and his peers credit him with stabilizing the stock outboard category and increasing its active membership. By aligning himself with an unselfish commission, he set out with specific goals, none of them self-serving, but always with the intent of bringing the sport to a new level of competitiveness and sportsmanship. He became a leader for APBA, and I think we can all agree, lead he did. Congratulations, Jeff Brewster. You are also now a member of the Honor Squadron. Come on up to the stage.
Wow, it's really amazing to emotionally see the last 50 years of your life wrapped up. I didn't expect that. I've given so many speeches, and I over the past 10 years as chairman, that I always had them all prepared, and I really drove my wife crazy over the past month or so. She's like, "You're going to write your speech, aren't you? You're going to write a speech, aren't you?" And all I wrote down was a whole bunch of notes. And it just drove her crazy. But I just really wanted this one not to be so formal and just be from the heart, because it's not hard for me to talk to you folks because I'm talking to my family. And that's how I've always envisioned it. And I've had a great life, and with this already, we just did some math. This is going to be my 50th season. Where did time fly? You know, in 1973, I was probably the last kid with a Wizard motor, out there running J Runabout, and how fast it all went by. And you young guys, you'll be up here before you know it. And over the past, it was odd this year to have it all come out in the Propeller magazine ahead of time. So I had so many calls and people telling me, "Oh, well, you really earned it." And I was like, "Well, I'm shocked." And I was so shocked by that. And I said, "I've been paid back already 10 times by knowing all of you. My God, I've got to know my idols. And I got to be friends with my idols as a kid growing up." You don't get that. You don't get that. Anywhere in life, you're so fortunate to be able to even be listed with these folks that are in front of us here. And the people that aren't sitting in these chairs are the ones that I'm really missing tonight. And we know who all they are. So many accolades was given to me in that speech by Ann, but it doesn't list all the people that helped me get there. There were so many folks that are not listed in that was there right beside me, or at least had the idea that I could push forward to try to make it happen. So thank you to those folks that made me get there. This is all, of course, all thanks to my parents, Jack and Joe. Jack and Joan are sitting at home in frozen Ohio, and hopefully they'll get to see a tape of this and know my thanks and my love for teaching me what I know. Because they taught me to give back to this sport. They worked their butts off. They drug us all over the country when they didn't have a dime to row together, but they made damn sure that us boys raced every darn weekend, to the point that most of my school friends had no idea that I was still around. When I come back from the summertime, "You're still here? You still live here? Where you been?" So thanks so much to my parents for that, and their refereeing and their scoring and their efforts, and my mom as a secretary for so many chairmen over the years. That's how I grew up, so that just made me drive to do everything I could, and this was my chance to do the best that I could. That little time in my life that I had enough time to focus on it. This thanks goes to the Honor Squadron Committee. I barely know all of your names, but thank you so much. And I've already heard 9 or 10 letters that came in that got me into this spot. I'm going to find all you guys and read your letters and give you a big hug. Thank you for that. Because you didn't only honor me, you honored my entire family of the Brewster family. None of the Brewsters have been up here. There's been a hell of a lot of Brewsters over the years that have raced boats and been APBA members. Gene, Dana, Jim, Ken, a lot of them aren't with me, sorry. Lisa, Jack, Jeff, Jay, John, Jerry, Christine, Justin, Ryan, and Austin all got in a hydroplane and raced with me. And I thank all of them, because you guys don't only thank me this evening, you thank my whole family. And I promised Ann Shaw that I would not be long, so I got to be as quick as possible. In the years that you have in this sport, it all flies by so fast, and there's so many families that don't get to spend the time that I do, okay? And when you see a family leaving the pits early and you're pissed off because you still got to pack up all the club equipment, well, hopefully someday they'll get to that stage where they can help you. I learned that really quick when I had kids, and I couldn't be there helping everybody pack up at the end of the day. So hang in there. Everybody goes through these stages. I went through that stage before my kids were born, where I could tow the club equipment and be a referee and all that stuff, and then here come kids. Oh boy, right? Christine and I battled through a whole pack of them, and then I had the time to spend. So we go through those phases in life. So when you get to that phase where you have time to provide for us, please do. It'll be so helpful to us. The past 10 years of commissions, you guys know who you are. You were so helpful to me to make us to where we are today. I would be totally remiss, and I hope not to offend, but if it wouldn't have been for Steve Norrie and Tom Johnson, I wouldn't be here today. I would have gave up at the first season. But those guys had my back, especially with the 300 motors and the 300 class. They did everything they could to help me. And Steve can't be here tonight, but at least TJ is. I thank God for that. Best friends you could ever ask for. So I would definitely, I promised that I wouldn't take long and I could stand up here. And I told Christine, I said, when it gets to 30 minutes, wave, because I've been up here way too long, because I can ramble all day. But I just want to thank you very much, all my friends and all my family. I'm so honored to be in front of my friends and my family. And so many people say, whoa, what are you going to do now, Jeff? What's your next stage? Well, folks, I'm going to race boats. That's what I'm going to do, because that's what I'm good at. Thank you.
Thank you, Honor Squadron members. Now you can go back to your seats. And for all of you in the audience, I know you realize that all these people up here have been inducted, and then they continue to work. As I said before, they continue to work for the betterment of this organization. And I hope you will look around, go back to your regions, and get some nominations to me by October 1. If you need any help on what to do, just give me a call. I'll be glad to help you. Okay, with this, we'll turn the rest of the program over to Kay.
All right, thank you, Anne. Okay, my paper's got a little backwards up here, but we're going to move on forward. And at this time, we're going to go to the Don Allen Senior Memorial Leadership Award. Honors service contributions to the American Powerboat Association in areas of leadership, safety, officiating, and other activities contributing to the benefit of APBA. At this time, I'd like to invite Howie Nichols and Monica Allen up to the stage to present the Don Allen Senior Memorial Leadership Award.
From Weymouth, Massachusetts, this member began his racing career in 1961, following in his father and grandfather's footsteps, beginning in the hotly contested DU class. He continued his racing career and mentored his brother, Bruce, after only being involved for the sport for a few years. He then continued with his racing career, only taking a year off when his two sons were born. After each brief hiatus, he then returned to the race course, and more often than not found his way to the podium. As his children grew, he started to focus on regional and national level offices, along with performing race official duties at nearly every event attended. Early on, he accepted the role of regional chairman several times throughout his APBA tenure, along with being a stock outboard commissioner. He once again took some time off from his driving responsibilities and relocated to Florida. He was often a fixture at all events and would help in any way possible. He took over the role as crew chief for a tunnel boat career and brought success to the team. Once his granddaughter chose to begin racing her, he once again found himself at each and every event, and then he himself stepped back into a boat and resumed his racing endeavors, and continues to do so at the young age of 77. He has since relocated back to Region 1 and has resumed the role of Region Chairman, Stock Outboard Commissioner, and has acted as the category representative to the Board of Directors. He continues his efforts at the events, not only being a competitor, but still being the referee, or an official at every Region 1 event that is held. While he cannot boast any national championships or national high point titles, he proudly wears the title of the coach, as he found new racers, put folks into his own equipment, mentors them through their racing careers, and is always available to offer any type of assistance, being moral support, racing advice, boat or motor repairs, or even hauling of equipment. He's been honored by both the OPC category, receiving the Randy Tilton Award, and the Mod category, receiving the John Reed Award. He remains low-key and quiet, not looking for any praise or wanting the spotlight. He enjoys just getting it done and making APBA and boat racing better for everyone involved, and even for those looking to become involved. For that, he is one of the most deserving members of APBA that I know of to receive the Don Allen Award. Is proud to present my best friend, my hero, and better, my father, Pete Nichols.
I can't see them out there, but I would ask that the Allen clan please stand. I'm honored to be give me just a minute, please. I was fortunate to work with Don, and everyone knows the dedication the Allen family has to APBA. And when I got the letter, I just was overwhelmed. I didn't have words to say. And I thank you very much to the committee and the Allen family for presenting me with this award. I said I would be brief. Thank you very much.
American Powerboat Association has been blessed with many amazing presidents in the past over the years. This job is a tremendous undertaking. Chris Fairchild took over this undertaking 2 years ago, along with still racing, maintaining a home life and a family life. It's his dedication to the sport that led him to the presidency. At this time, I'd like to introduce our 2021 American Powerboat Association President, Mr. Chris Fairchild.
I get to introduce the recipient of the Charles D. Strang Ultimate Service Award. The people that have received this before this recipient are more than deserving of this award. When I was asked to present this, I realized that I was asked to present this because Gary Romberg received this last year. I'd like to set a new standard that the recipient from last year presents the award for this year. As a person who is a whole lot younger than the recipients of this award, I think it doesn't do the justice when the president awards this. It should be the past recipient. However, I'm trying to do Kurt Romberg a favor. Jeff Titus is your new recipient of this award. Jeff, if I have to put on readers, I didn't bring mine, and I had to borrow Angela's, so I'm going to try not to use them. Jeff Titus's APBA's life began in 1955 when he competed in stock outboard events. He saw the formation of the OPC category through the 60s with his wife, Sally. Sally's been by his side for a very long time. Both Jeff and Sally were very active in many areas of APBA, serving on multiple committees and officiating for close to 50 years. They love the sport so much that they even brought their sons into it. Jeff has been serving on the OPC Commission and has been an OPC inspector since the late 60s. Jeff's many other accomplishments in APBA include acting on Region 5's, being Region 5's chairman. Jeff, forgive me, I don't have my glasses. Being Region Chairman, APBA's Chief Inspector, Counsel at Large, co-chair on the APBA Timing Committee, and honors Squadron induction in 1988, not to mention his 17 national champions and 8 world records. Jeff has done many things over his years. There's a lot to be said about Mr. Titus and his dedication to our sport, although not to be overshadowed by his wife, Sally, who was recipient of this exact award only 5 years ago. The two are outstanding members of our association and more than deserving of this distinguished recognition. Congratulations to Jeff Titus.
I don't have a speech prepared. This should make everyone happy. 66 years ago, my dad and I started in that little A utility. People probably won't understand. I think you call those A runabouts today. But that's what I started in. Through the years, had a lot of people to help me. Had a great time. Through the later years, I've tried to give back, and I thank all of you for helping any way we can. This is a great sport, great family people, and thank you very much.
I will hand the remainder of this presentation back over to Kay.
In 1974, Fred Miller created the Hall of Champions Awards to honor the drivers of American Powerboat Association with the highest racing honor. Over the years, there's been over 900 inductees into the Hall of Champions. At this time, I'd like all the past APBA Hall of Champions inductees to please rise to be recognized. Tonight, we are recognizing 18 inductees into the APBA Hall of Champions Golf Hall of Fame. We have 6 first-time inductees, 5 second-year inductees, 1 third-time, 1 fourth-time, 3 five-time inductees, 1 sixth-time, and 1 driver who is here for the 8th time. Tonight, we celebrate an outstanding year for these drivers in the honor roll. Please welcome your 2021 Hall of Champions inductees. With her family and great support system behind her, she has done an amazing job on the year, just capsizing in the junior category. Little Ava Hearn. Ava Hearn took the junior class by storm in 2021. She earned nearly every title possible, including the J Runabout and J Hydro High Point Champions, J Hydro and J Runabout North American Champions, J Hydro Central Divisional Championship, and the 2021 National Champion in J Hydro. She also won the prestige Pop Trolling Award and Steve Hearn Award. She only raced 2 classes, but managed to take home 14,581 points in 2021.
Hi. I can't see this. Okay. I remember coming to these meetings ever since I was little. Up until a few years ago, I thought that the annual meeting was just an excuse to get out of school for a couple of days and go see friends I hadn't seen in months. I also thought that getting inducted was for old men like my dad and Papa Joe. Little did I know, one day I'd be standing up here reading a speech I wrote an hour ago. My goal to get up here started when my sister Courier was inducted in 2019. Ever since then, I knew that I wanted to be up here too. So many people helped me get up here, and there are a lot of people to thank tonight, but one of the biggest thanks goes out to my sisters. My sisters did a lot to help me get up here tonight, but the sister that helped me the most was Ellie. Ellie, I honestly don't think I would be the driver today I am without you. Every time I ask you to let me win, you let me think you will, but once I give you an opening, you never look back. I have never seen someone get so good in such a short amount of time. You have gone from making me scared you're going to hit me to making me scared you're going to beat me. You taught me this year that even though you're younger, that I should never look down on you, and I respect that deeply. Ellie, I love you so much, and I want to thank you for being such a great competitor this year. Ellie wasn't the only sister to help me, though. Everyone who has siblings knows that they're always your biggest and harshest critique. In a family with a lot of kids, I have a lot of critiques. Having older siblings also gives you a lot to live up to, whether it's having to live up to their good grades or keeping the 4-year-long J Hydro National Champion streak in the family. By the way, Ellie, no pressure for next year. There are sometimes big shoes to fill, and a lot of people providing advice on how to fill them. I think my 2 biggest critiques, besides Papa Joe and my dad, is my 2 older sisters, Izzy and Corey. However, I do appreciate all the hard work they put in to get my equipment fast for me. Thank you for being my teammates and my best friends. My sisters weren't my only siblings that helped me. Everyone here knows how difficult and important starts are to racing. My starts this year were not the most consistent, but I do know that the ones that were good, I owe to my big brother, Trayden. Trayden, thank you so much for always catching my boat and giving me start times. I am so happy that I now have a big brother to look up to. I love you so much, and I really hope you continue to give me start times in the future. Of course, I can't forget Theo. Theo, thank you for always giving me helmet kisses. I also want to thank Gigi for always providing much-needed coffee, cake, and cookies at the races. Without you, my siblings and I would be eating healthy every weekend, and we wouldn't want that. Another person I would like to thank is my mom. Mom, thank you for letting me skip swim meets and practices for boat races and test sessions. I really appreciate you freeing up your time with me to help me reach my goal to get into Hall. I love you so much, and I hope you're watching this. Getting up here took blood, sweat, and a lot of tears. Just ask Kelly. Kelly, thank you for being my emotional support this season. Without you, I definitely would not be up here tonight. You have helped me not only emotionally, but are always there with a helping hand. Thank you for always being my shoulder to cry on. I love you so much. Being up here tonight wouldn't have been possible without a boat and a motor. 2 of the biggest people I have to thank for my equipment this year are my Uncle Richard and Uncle Dean. Uncle Richard, thank you for providing me with all the equipment and offering a very much needed helping hand at the Nationals this year. Uncle Dean, thank you for making my motors fast so that I could be up here tonight. These next two people are the hardest working people I have ever met. Papa Joe, I cannot express how thankful I am for you. I appreciate you taking the time from your own racing to help me and my sisters. You motivate me with your dedication to testing, even though I could do without the early morning test sessions every single day of summer vacation. Although I have Papa Joe to thank for planning those early morning test sessions, I have my dad to thank for dragging me out of bed, making me get in the water, and for running perfectly good motors with me on rough, windy days when we could have been sleeping. Dad, I love you so much. You are my motivation during those cold summer mornings and the night before I get out on the water. You think out every single thing that could help me go faster, from tearing down motors on late, buggy summer nights to testing with a cast on. You always have a plan to help me get better. There's absolutely no way I could be up here without you. There's nothing I could ever say to thank you for the amount of time and effort you put into racing this year. I love you so much, Dad, and I can't wait to do it again next year. Thank you.
When I called all these inductees before this Hall of Champions, I asked them one minor question. What in 2021 was your most ongoing issue that you fought? Cody Olson said squeezing into that AX Hydro has been his biggest challenge over the last couple years. Well, Cody, congratulations on the Hall of Champions in AXS. It's time to bump up to C Stock. Cody Olson has been racing for 8 years, and in those 8 years, this is his 4th time to the APBA Hall of Champions, winning 2 national high point champions in AX Runabout and AX Hydro. Cody finished 3rd in AX Runabout at the Nationals and took home the championship in AX Hydro at Springfield, Ohio. When he is not battling it out in the first term with fellow competitor Corey Ladd, he is busy volunteering on the judges' stand, announcing, and timing for Marine Race Club in Illinois.
I would like to thank K-Dub for that great introduction, and I would like to congratulate you on being this year's MC. Sadly, though, we won't see Ed Hearn up here with his hour-long speeches. Now, I wish I could deliver that to you guys, but let's be honest and leave that to the attorneys. Now, everyone knows that the best speeches start with the thank yous, and this year wouldn't have been possible without the huge support from my parents. My parents do a ton of work to be able to put me out on the water, and I couldn't be more grateful for all that they have done for me. Now to my siblings. The work and encouragement you guys gave me has helped me be able to stand here tonight. And of course, none of this would be possible without the constant badgering and for dragging me out of bed every morning to go testing. Also, I'd like to give a big thank you to Tom Smith, who allowed me to be able to drive those super fast mini-built motors. Also, a thank you to Queg DeWalt for working with me and my dad to come up with some very speedy props. A great man once told me, the will to win is insignificant unless the will to work is greater. That great man is Mike Pavlik. Mike has helped me tremendously and pushed me to work harder and reach my goals. Not only Mike, but his entire family. So a huge thank you goes out to them. Especially the contribution that Jared and Mike has made. None of this would have been possible without them. There's too many people to individually thank, so thank you to each and every one of you who has helped me to get where I am this season. It's been a full and busy year, and I want to take a moment to reflect and congratulate some people who have made great impacts on me in this season. Starting off with my sister Cassandra. She has done tremendous work this year as a scorer and has helped out our regional club and APBA a ton. I don't know where I would be without her. I want to congratulate my brother Cole. who has done tremendous in the 15 Superstock Hydro class, winning nationals along with high points. I'm excited to see what he's going to do next season. Next, I want to congratulate Jared Pavlik, who demolished his A-Stock class, winning his nationals, high points, and shattering records. I'd like to congratulate Mikey for his success and I'm pretty sure anything with the Yamato. He dominated his class and he pushed it in push and P. Finally, congratulations to my biggest competitor and friend, Corey Ladd. She has and will continue to have great success in this sport, just like her great mentors of Joe Pater and Edward Hearn. Corey, thank you for being such a great competitor this season. I had fun racing side by side all summer with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the bigger classes. Now, this season was one to remember and a great way to say goodbye to the junior category. I'm so thankful for all the time I spent here racing against great people like Ava Hearn, who congratulations to you. I'm excited to see what the J class will look like in the upcoming years because the Olsons sure can't field a whole class anymore, and the Hearns can't either. Oh, wait, I'm pretty sure they already do. Seriously, though, thank you to everyone. It's been an honor to be up here again, and I'll see you guys all in the summer. Thank you.
In 2021, driving for a special person, Charles Cron, and becoming the Grand National High Point winner, John Shaw. John Shaw had a great 2021 season. He traveled from one side of the United States to the other, racing in 7 different states and collecting enough points to score the high points in 1.5 stock, 2.5 mod, 2.5 stock, and Grand National Hydro. He also won the Summer National Championships in Grand National Hydro and 1.5 stock, the Western Divisional Championship in 1 liter and 2.5 mod, and is the Eastern Divisional Champion in Grand National Hydro and 2.5 stock.
First, I'd like to thank K-Dub and Tracy for all your work putting this event together tonight, as well as all the staff at APBA headquarters, the race committees, officials, race personnel, and the countless event volunteers it takes to let us do what we do. When I was inducted the first time in 2014, I thought that was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's not really something you can plan, especially at the beginning of the season. At least in inboard, our criteria is pretty stringent just to qualify. I was fortunate enough to grow up in the sport. As my mom said earlier, we started racing in '73 as a family. And we grew up around the best people, boat racers. Growing up, I learned at an early age that hard work pays off. And when it doesn't, it just means you need to work harder. For me, racing is a family affair. Dad always said that we were going to quit. He'd quit racing when it stopped being fun. And 50 years later, we're still at it. Without all the support of my family, I definitely wouldn't be standing here tonight. I have to start by thanking my wonderful wife. There's many, many things on her honey-do list that is not a priority during race season. I'm sure many of you can relate. Some way, somehow, I was lucky enough to land somebody that understands and puts up with the craziness of preparing 4 boats every week and racing 5 to 6 boats every single weekend. And she really, truly doesn't complain much. So every Tuesday night and most weekends, we spend out in the shop working on boats. Usually she cooks us dinner and then says, "See ya." And I really can't blame her. My dad, Rich, Rob, and Justin were there nonstop, always trying to make the boats stronger, safer, more reliable, and hopefully faster. As a team, I ran 87 heats, and we only finished out of the top three times, and only had 2 DNFs. For us, the preparation for the 2021 season started back in the winter of 2019. Sadly, Doug Martin's brother Jim unexpectedly passed away. Doug decided to repaint the boat all white and put his brother's number on the side. We're going to dedicate the 2020 season in memory of his brother. Unfortunately, somebody had some other plans. So we just kind of pushed off our plans till 2021. Junior Keene built us a pair of 2300s that were bulletproof, especially after the disastrous season I had in 2018. Like I said, we pushed off our plans for the 2020 season to 2021, and that had to start with a trip to the West Coast. So when I mentioned to my dad the idea of going west, he had already booked his flights. They were already going out there, and he's like, "So when are we leaving?" And just canceled everything. We ran 2.5 stock and 2.5 mod, finished second in the Western Divisional 2.5 stocks, and taken home first in 2.5 mod. 2 weeks later, we had the Nationals, but we had some work to do between races. But I had to fly home to be with my wife as we started our little family. I can't thank Chris Shaw Finaris and his Windjammer team for getting everything fixed and ready, so we were ready to compete at the Nationals. Chris is one of our top competitors, and he didn't think twice to loan us parts, even one of his best propellers. Then later on in the season, towards the end of the season, when points are getting pretty tight and crucial, we were trying to find a third boat so we could score points at a small local race in New Jersey. And after calling everybody who had run a 2.5 stock in the class for the past 10 years, we finally just decided to convert my 1.5 into a 2.5. And you outboarders in here are probably thinking, like, what's the big deal? We run multiple classes every weekend. But everything was different. Nothing just bolted in, nothing fit. And we were kind of on a time crunch. And with that, we didn't have enough parts to actually do it. So the coolest thing about this whole entire sport is the people. Former or fellow competitors overnighted parts so we could make it happen. That doesn't happen in any other sport. We ended up winning the 2.5 stock Eastern Divisionals 2 weeks later, locking up high points in 2.5 stock and 2.5 mod. I can't thank Doug and Tina Martin enough for the opportunity to drive such great equipment. At the Western Divisionals, I also had the opportunity to drive Tim Collins' 1-liter Shenanigans. That thing's a rocket ship and has been a staple in the class the past 15 years. Tim, Jim Scheckler, and Mike Kelly have that boat dialed in, and it is a blast to drive. After relearning some of the nuances of driving a 1-liter, we took home the Western Divisional title. I can really understand why Mike loves driving that thing. While the 2.5 mod was out west, we were back, the rest of the team was back east, finishing up preparing the 1.5 stock and completing the rebuild of the 7-liter. Wayne Hagatha and I had teamed up about 10 years ago, and the T1 Trophy Hunter has been either on or near the top of the podium ever since. I'm really excited to see what the T-Class has as they're finally growing out on the West Coast. And there's some young guns that are getting really, really quick. It's going to be tough. I'm really excited to see the young guns get more experience and hopefully be able to keep the sport we all love alive for many years to come. Now here's the hard one. Bear with me. For years, Charlie Cronin and I had talked about getting a 7-liter and helped trying to revive the class back to its former glories of the 80s. At first, I thought he was just dreaming, but then he kept bringing it up, and then texting me, and then calling me. And then we started calling, trying to find boats and track stuff down. By this point, Charlie had been diagnosed with liver cancer, and one of his life dreams was to race a 7-liter. We went and tracked down the boat that we always kept going back to with the help of Connor Harnack. Unfortunately, fortunately, Charlie was able to receive the gift of life when he received a liver transplant. Hence the name of the boat. While Charlie was at home recovering, the boat was back east recovering as well. At the shop of Larry Lauterbach's, it started out as cutting off some aluminum skin and refinishing the bottom, very quickly turned into rebuilding the back half of the boat. Without Larry's expertise and guidance, it'd still be in pieces. Larry is truly the best craftsman I've ever met. George Kennedy helped with re-rig stuff and update some stuff, and then we were ready to go testing after almost 2 years. Luckily, we didn't break anything testing and took the boat to our first race out in West Virginia. We were fortunate to have 2 heat wins, and our good fortune continued throughout the entire season as we won every single heat we entered and had 0 DNFs, which in itself is an accomplishment with a big, modified big block. We won the Eastern Divisionals, Summer Nationals, as well as the High Point Championship. Thanks to PowerMist Race Fuels for all the support this season. All the hard work was all made worth it after watching Charlie be so excited after fulfilling one of his life dreams. Unfortunately, last month, Charlie won his final race and took his checkered flag. Rest in peace, my friend. Everyone always says that the Hall of Champions is the highest award a driver can achieve in APBA, except I'm not really sure that's quite an accurate description to me. To me, this is the highest achievement a team can achieve. As a driver, I'm just a small piece of the puzzle to be successful in racing. It truly does take a dedicated team, and like many of you, I'm sure you have one. I know I would not be standing here without the support of my friends and family. Boat racing is truly the best sport in the world, not just because the boats are really cool and go really fast, but because of the people that are involved. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's helped me along the way, and a special thanks to Charlie for showing me the true gift of life.
Hey, John, you made it through it. Congratulations. All right. A third-generation driver. She's got racing in her blood. You'll see her jumping from a 200 mod runabout to an 1100 runabout. With the nails out, Erin Pittman.
Erin Pittman dominated the 200 class by taking national high points in 200 mod runabout and 200 mod hydro. She started her season with a first in A-Stock Hydro and 200 mod hydro at the Eastern Championships in Jessup, Georgia. She continued her winning streak throughout the season, including a first place finish in 200 mod hydro and a third in 200 mod runabout at the National Championships in Springfield, Ohio. Erin traveled to Depew, Illinois with fiance Austin Vanover, and as a team, they won 1100 runabout at the Pro Nationals. Erin's collection of 5,702 points in 200 mod hydro earned her the Paul Caleb Award for the most points in one class.
Thank you. I wanted to first say thank you to everybody at APBA and headquarters, Becky especially, and thank you, K-Dub, for emceeing. It definitely was a nice mix-up. And I also wanted to say it's nice to see you guys. We took a year off, and we're back, and wow, it was an amazing year back. Even without all of this, it was just great to be back into the swing of things. I missed it a lot. So I also wanted to take a moment and I would be having a crown about this tall, that Pierce Williams gave me. After my 2019 Nationals, he sent it to me, and I know he's looking at me right now, and he's probably cursing me out for not bringing it with me. I'm sorry, Pierce, it didn't fit into my luggage. I had way too much other stuff to bring, and Austin had 6 pairs of shoes. So, 2019 was great. It was, well, I'll backtrack. So I took a couple of years off, and I moved to Missouri, and whenever I came back, 2019 was my first season back, and I won my first Nationals, and wow, did that feel good. 2020, we took a break, but we definitely did our homework. There were a lot of cold mornings, just like Ava and Joe out there getting testing done. And then here we are today. And then 2022 is going to be even better. Besides the getting married part, I'm so excited to be stepping into different classes and different categories, and I'm really excited to be a part of the scoring committee next year, hopefully. So I'm going to go through my thank you lists, and I'm sorry if I forget anybody. I really tried to not, but I know I probably will. So I first want to say thank you to Eric Vanover and Cliff Johnson, because you guys are amazing, and I'm so excited to be a part of your guys' race team now. I want to say thank you to Brian and Katie and Ashton Caffarelli for stepping up and lending me a motor whenever somebody did not put it back together right after Nationals. And I want to say thank you to Amy and Jim Sweeney. Amy is one of the best racers that you could ever race with. I'm getting chills right now. I love racing with her. Logan Sweeney, thank you so much for multiple times doing point tabulations for me as I'm crying in the car. I want to say thank you to Carl Holt for spending probably hours on the phone with my dad and answering any questions that he has. I want to say thank you to Tracy Trollian, most importantly, Tracy Trollian, but also Scoop and Dominic and Brian. I also wanted to say thank you to Trayden for stepping up into some classes for me. I wanted to also say thank you to Jerry Davids and George and Mikey Smith for also stepping up for classes for me. Gary Pugh, who is my boat builder. I am so very honored to have one of the first stock outboard A boats that he has ever built. I want to say thank you to Steve Dunn as well for doing some A sidewinder work for me. Mark O'Brien and Justin Farrell, thank you so much for always being there to catch boats whenever Austin or my dad couldn't be there. I also wanted to say thank you to some of the clubs that we raced for. Of course, Indiana Outboard Association, thank you guys so much. I love you guys. Thank you to Marine Racing Club for putting on the Nationals this year and for allowing me to come to Rock Falls. Also to the CVRA, you guys are awesome. I love you guys. Thank you to Jill and Caitlin as well. I love spending my time up on Judge's Stand with you guys. Three Rivers Outboard Association as well. Dayton Record Runs. I probably should just say Ed. Almost done, I promise. This is probably going to be the hard part, so I'm sorry. I promise I won't cry. I'll try not to. I wanted to say thank you to my dad, because without him, I honestly have no idea where I would be in my life. Racing-wise and also personally, you are always there for me, no matter what. Even whenever I took your class this summer and I was doing homework in the car on the way to boat races, you were always there to pick up the phone and to tell me that it was going to be all right. Thank you. I'll keep this one short because I'm probably sure you guys are all sick and tired of hearing about Austin and Aaron. But Austin, thank you. Thank you for stepping up whenever nobody else was there. I don't know who else I would spend the rest of my life with, and I am so excited for 2022. 2021 was the best, and it's just going to keep getting better. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
He took some time away from racing, but he came back to show he still has the skills. He's the high point winner for the 750 mod runabout and the 850 mod runabout. Welcome back, James Luce. James Luce dusted off his 750 and 850 mod runabouts after a 7-year hiatus and took the 2021 High Point Championships in both classes. He traveled from New York to Springfield, Ohio over the summer and won the 850 mod runabout title. He took a 750 mod runabout Winter National Championships at Jessup, Georgia. James is a third-generation driver and has already started testing with his son Jameson as they set their sights on the J Hydro class in 2022.
It's been a long time since I've been on the stage. There's been a lot of changes in my life since 2006, but I'm proud to be back standing here in front of my peers accepting this award. The season wasn't unexpected. We had a lot of good times and worked through challenges, and that's what led us here today. I'd like to thank my family for all the support over the years, and especially this year. Thank you.
Well, we all know when this team shows up, racing with What's Up Doc Racing, and pretty much racing every Yamato class there is possible, with the biggest, widest smile in the pits, Rick Miller.
Rick Miller had one of his best seasons ever in 400 mod hydro, 350 mod hydro, and B stock hydro. Although the closest race for Rick is a 10-hour drive, he managed to collect over 14,000 points in 32 races across 7 different Yamato classes. His many winning achievements include a first in 400 mod hydro, third in B stock hydro, and fourth in 350 mod hydro at the Stock and Mod National Championships. At the 2021 Winter Nationals, he walked away with 2 first-place finishes in 400 mod hydro and B stock hydro. He even set 2 speed records in B stock hydro while at the Great American Outboard Race in Dayton, Ohio.
All right. Thank you, Hall of Champion Committee, Tracy, K-Dub, Becky and Holly, everybody worked on things. This is the highest honor, and we appreciate you guys making it all happen. I have a unique story this year, and I've been in a few years in the past, but this is maybe the most unique one. I'm up here because of a motor that sat in the garage for 22 years and a prop that sat in a prop box for 26 years. So I had a friend of mine that raced the B Hot Rod back in the 90s, back in Oklahoma, and he was my main motor mechanic. And when he quit, he sent this hot rod back up to Tom Mulder to get freshened up in case they started racing again. Well, he never did. As a matter of fact, he told me he 3 different times sent money to Tom to get the motor shipped back, and Tom never did. So speaking of Tom's a good friend of ours, and he would stop by going to see Rick to get some dental work done. Now, Tom was an amazing guy with the hot rods, we all know, and Tom has obviously since passed, but he would, he's kind of cantankerous, and you can only imagine him as a dental patient, and he seemed like he always had work on the back teeth, the hardest teeth to work on. So since he's not here with us anymore, I think I'm okay on the HIPAA part telling you about that. So, but anyway, Tom had an amazing motor. And anyway, Jan finds Rick Morris's name on the power head 22 years later, calls him up, says, you want the motor? He sends it to him. I then get it and send it to Ty APBA, my main competitor, who goes through, gets it ready to go, and gets it ready for me. And Ty said how cool it would be at the Nationals if we could hit the first turn side by side. And sure enough, the second heat we did. It was so cool. And Ty, his dad and my dad raced. Ty and I have raced since the 80s, and now Ty's son Rhett and my nephew Braxton are racing. So it's pretty cool, 3 generations of families racing and being friends. But anyway, I'm also up here because of a fuel line that came loose. And it happened to be on Braxton's motor that I put on. And I promise you, I tried to put it on really good. But Braxton, fuel line came loose in the first heat of 400 hydro at the Nationals. And I won the first heat. The second heat, he goes out and wins. So if that fuel line would have stayed on, that I promise you I put on good, I might not be up here. So we had some great competitors to race against this year. Daniel Koshka, Aaron Proctor, Bob's here, and Aaron's right here with some great races. Justin Farrell, I wanted to thank Justin for falling out of his boat while he was milling at Katanning, because we were neck and neck in points, and he fell out milling. And man, my heart rate just went down quite a bit when that happened, because I was like, all right, I got a chance here. But anyway, Justin was a great competitor this year. Wyman Boatride, who's here, is a great competitor. Now, I had an interesting situation with Wyman this year at Constantine. We're going down the backstretch, and I promise you, there must have been like a 20 or 30 mile an hour wind that just came sideways on my boat, and my boat pulled over in front of his. And then all of a sudden, I get this new nickname, No Look Rick. And seriously, that wind came out of nowhere. I promise you I didn't do that on purpose. And he thinks I can't turn my neck, but I can. So anyway, finally, I had some great races with Scoop. Man, we had, every race in 350 hydro, he was right there. And everywhere I looked, there was Scoop. And we had some great races. And then even one race, I get up out of my motorhome and get up in the morning, and I walk out, I walk in there, and there on the couch, there's Scoop, spent the night. I was like, I can't get away from this guy. But anyway, enjoyed racing with you, bud. So I want to thank my family for letting me race. My wife's so gracious to let me race. And we live on a big lake. We have a boat at home, and I'm gone racing, so the boat's sitting there instead of me chauffeuring them on the lake. But we get plenty of time of that. But thank my family for letting me race. I do want to thank Braxton for helping keep the equipment going. And he got his first time up here in 2019, and I know we'll have more. But thank you. Steve Dunn, thank you for making super fast motors. And I know, I'm pretty sure you're making mine faster than everybody else's, right? Because I think he does about 2/3 of the field in 350 hydro. Ross Webster also, Ty APBA, like I mentioned, Craig DeWald and Gary Miller. And this year I had a pipe bracket get loose that I didn't know about, and I wrecked like 5 props. I just kept thinking I hit in a sandbar, and I kept having to send those props back and getting fixed there. But thank you. And then Jason Dirksen right here makes the most amazing boats. As far as my What's Up Doc team, I want to thank Charlie Holman. Charlie's not here this weekend, but he's back home. He already sent me pictures yesterday saying somebody had to stay home and do the work. But he's our team chaplain, an amazing guy, and can fix anything. My dad, who's just amazing, he's what makes What's Up Doc tick. He's our best cheerleader, our hardest critic, but he pushes Braxton and I to be the best we can be. Thank you. I definitely cannot be up here without you. Finally, I've got John Ruff, who did our invocation. John started this about 5 years ago, and he can't lift a boat, he can't turn a screwdriver, but he can drive the motorhome and he can cook. And that is 2 big niches we needed filled. And he is amazing. He puts the biggest spread of food out, and I know he's become friends with everybody. But this year, I needed to go to Katanning, Pennsylvania, and I needed to go to Dayton, Ohio, back-to-back weekends, but I needed to get home to work in between. Well, we leave to go, and John's mom, who is 92, is having surgery on her hip. And she blessed him to go, and I guess thankful for COVID that you couldn't have a bunch of people up there. And he thought, well, my brother can be up there. 2 of us can't be up there at the same time. John goes with us, and he was on the phone all the time checking on her. And I think after the fact, he probably regrets that he didn't stay home with his mom. But John, I could not be up here without you and all the work that you do and driving the motorhome and cooking and everything. So you're an amazing addition to our team. Final three things that I want to kind of leave with you. They say that teamwork makes the dream work, and that is so true. And my What's Up Doc team is amazing, or I couldn't be up here. My dad says you win the race 10 seconds before the race. That has to be so true. He's always right, and it does. You need to have that throttle, squeezed 10 seconds before our racing and hit the start. And then finally, discipline is doing something now you don't want to do to get something you want later on. And that's everything from testing in 110 heat index to getting up on cold mornings and jogs so you can stay in shape, to try to keep up with these young guys and gals. But anyway, it's been a pleasure to be up here and to racing, and I love my racing family, and it's just an honor, and I thank you all.
They powered their 32-foot Performance Boat Center S21 at over 120 miles per hour to get them into the winner's circle at the Superstock World Champions back-to-back years, Myra Coyle and Rusty Williams. Myra Cole and Rusty Williams drove the Performance Boat Center S21 to the podium finishes in the last 16 events they attended and won the 2021 APBA Offshore Nationals Series. To top off their great season, they also took home the Superstock UIM APBA World Championship in Key West, Florida.
Is bright. I'd like to thank APBA. It's a really cool deal to be able to come here and get recognized by your peers. What everybody says about team is what it's all about, especially with two guys in the boat. It's a really cool deal. I don't know if you guys have ever got to experience that, but not being a driver and having a throttle man there that is in control of something that you aren't is a pretty eerie feeling the first couple times that you go into a corner. But Rusty does a great job. So PBC, or Performance Boat Center, is where we work, and that's who owns the boat. And they're awesome to work for, and without them we wouldn't be doing this. Wright Performance Powerboats, which is the boat. Mercury Racing, which builds unbelievable products for us to be able to race. DeWalt propellers. Our crew, Rusty, Andy, Jason, Mark Waddington, the owner of Performance Boat Center. He pushes us and constantly is asking how we're going to do better or deal with problems that we've had, or how we're going to win, basically. Brett, my wife Missy, which deals with me working long hours, and all of our kids. She takes care of the kids. I never have to worry about that. So I'm just really proud to be honored by you guys, and want to say thank you.
My name's Rusty. I'm the one that throttles. Obviously, that's Myrick who steers. Is the driver. Myrick is one that has the most experience. He's been racing boats for, 30 years now? 20 years now. Back in the days, racing with Budweiser and crewing on Budweiser and many other teams. But it's a little bit different than some of the racing that you guys do, because we do have two people in the boat. So we try to get along as best we can. Sometimes when you're losing, we get a little mad at each other, and Mark and everybody listens in to our conversation as well as our crew team. And they say it gets a little silent sometimes, and sometimes we're cheering and screaming because we're winning. But it's a great duo, and it's a great honor to be up here for the Hall of Champions. Like he said, we couldn't do it without our crew. Andy Sanders is our crew chief. He makes our engines perfect. Since we started the boat in 2019, we've podium finished every single race, and that's all due to Andy and Jason, our crew team. But like I said, it's a great honor, and big thanks to APBA.
Working together, Mike McColgan, and we're just going to call him Fantastic Fran. It's going to be your new name. In the 601 Run Runner, showed that the whole world that teamwork starts in the pits and continues in the cockpit, as they earned the 2021 Hall of Champion inductee title.
Mike McColgan and Francis Valetato Jr. in the Rum Runner number 601 had a perfect season in the Class 600 offshore by becoming the 2021 OPA Regional Champions, 2021 National Series Champions, 2021 UIM APBA World Champions, and the 2021 OPA High Point Champions. They battled through rough open seas in the two-day 100-mile OPA World Championships in Inglewood, Florida, and won from the outside.
Where to begin, where to begin? Man, where do I begin? My first time here was in 2019 after we had some engine failure. I guess about 3 of them, connecting rods, said I had enough. I went out of this thing. Had a tough season. 20 we had Biden come around and destroyed everybody. But let's go, Brandon. So, long story short, can I get a hell yeah? So 2021 came around, and I said, you know, I'm only going to do like maybe 6 of these races. And then as soon as I get back in the boat, and Mike starts yelling at me how I became Fossil Fran. Fantastic. Gentle fossil, as you would say. I can't seem to ever get away from this family, you know, and I always think of my future, where I'm going to be down the road. I'm always thinking ahead, trying to save $1, but you know what? I need more horsepower, more torque, and it's a problem. But I'm never going to get away from this. Even if I did retire at 50, at 55 years old or something, I'd still want to be a part of it. And I look at all the organizations, and, you know, you talk to so many people, and I could go around at every race and just talk to everybody, because I guess maybe I'm just that type of person, and I enjoy it so much. One thing I am missing, and I know it's a problem for me internally, but I see it, and I love to see it, and I actually got tears in my eyes when Ava said, thanks, Dad, you know, for being there for me so much. My father's 75, 76 years old, has never attended a single race, and I miss him. I want him here. So now, nothing against everybody, but thank you for being here for me. My heart's racing. This sucks. But I got to give a lot of credit to Mike. He's been in this a hell of a lot longer than I have. And he's taught me a lot, and I can't thank him enough. I'm not going to hug him, because if I did, he'd probably push me away. And the other thanks I have to give a big thanks to is Pamela Potieri. Could she stand up and everybody give her applause, please? She actually feeds us, makes sure we're good, gives me a hard time, listens to me bitch and complain. It is what it is. She makes sure it's washed, makes sure everything's together. And she actually, you saw part of the clip of the video. She does all the videos, and if you don't follow us, shame on you. You got to follow us on Facebook. So, but I do have to thank everybody here and thank everybody for listening to me go on and on. But I love you all, and thank you for everything, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. I'll see you again next year, because we'll be back again.
You know, I had a big speech planned. I wrote it out. 2019, I shot from the hip. And then listening to everyone's speech today, I'm going to shoot from the hip again. You know, I want to thank Fran. He gave me the opportunity to drive his boat when he didn't know me from Adam. I believe I said that in 19. I say it again now. And mainly, I just want to thank the APBA and the opportunity for everyone to let us be up here. That's it, short and sweet. Thank you all, and I appreciate everything you guys at the APBA have done. Thank you.
Racing for the Indiana Outboard Club out of Culver, Indiana, Jack Campbell.
Jack Campbell essentially swept the antique class at the Pro Nationals in Depew, Illinois, taking second place in Sea Racing Hydro and Sea Service Runabout, and a first place in Sea Racing Runabout and Sea Service Hydro, raising his total count to 35 wins at Pro Nationals. He traveled from his home state of Indiana to Michigan, Kentucky, Georgia, North Carolina, and all the way to Washington State, collecting enough points to be the high point winner for Sea Racing Runabout and second high point for Sea Service Hydro and Sea Racing Hydro.
Can't hardly read it. 4 years ago, also known as 1997, I was inducted into the Hall of Champions. The national meeting was near Fort Lauderdale, and it wasn't nearly as fancy as this. My fellow inductee was Eddie Thirlby. Fast forward 24 years, and I'm back again. This year, my fellow pro inductee is Austin Vanover, who drives for Thirlby Racing. It's crazy how things happen like that. It's been an honor racing with Thirlbys and the Vanovers for the last 35 years. I should also mention that these jackets are a whole lot nicer than they were back then. Since I started racing 35 years ago, I've worked with many people who have become my racing family. I'd like to thank many for an amazing year, and I wouldn't be standing here without the hard work of them. Mike Gibson and I have an informal racing partnership. He takes care of the finances, and I build and keep the motors running. I'd like to thank Mike's nephew, Justin, for breaking a rod a few hundred feet from the finish line in the finals at the Depew Nationals last summer. If it wasn't for that, you'd be hearing from Justin again, not me. Justin's wife, Brittany, runs her 200 mod hydro and does a wonderful job. Carl Williams is absolutely invaluable resource for the antique guys. Running 90-year-old alky burners can be challenging. With Carl's help, it is easier. Lastly, Dave Everhart, who has helped and supported us for years. Few people love the sport of boat racing as much as Dave does. I'd also like to thank my family. My sons Devin and Jack have managed to make the experience of watching a boat race most exciting and entertaining and nerve-wracking that I could have imagined. Finally, my wife Lynn, thank you for your endless love, support, and understanding. You've been with me throughout this entire journey. In 1997, Lynn was with me. During my many races over the last 30 years, Lynn was there with me. And tonight, Lynn is here with me. Lynn, I couldn't have done it without you. Last season, the team and I traveled coast to coast. We began the season in Jessup, Georgia, then raced throughout the Midwest in June and July. As the season turned to September, we headed out to Lake Lawrence in Washington. Well, we tried to set some records. It wasn't our lucky day. We must have brought some luck, though, because the day after we arrived, their mini drought ended. After Washington, we packed up and set out for Kentucky. At the end of October, we found her ending the season in Tabor City. Over the years, I've made many racing friends and family across the country. Boat racers are some of the friendliest and most helpful people I could hope to meet. While racing rivalries are the highlight. Socializing and hanging out with the fellow racers after the race is just as fun. I started racing in '86, and it took me 11 years to earn my place in the hall in '97. After 24 more years of trying, I finally did it again. If I'm going to do it again, I got to come up with a better plan. Of course, that's one of the great things about boat racings. Sometimes the old guys still have a chance. Thank you.
He's raced 9 different classes and collected 1,600 points to earn his seat in the Hall of Champions for the 5th time. Ladies and gentlemen, fancy footman, Austin Vanover.
Austin Vanover participated in 48 races in 9 different classes across 8 states, drove a little over 12,000 miles and collected almost 16,000 APBA points in 2021. He is a 5-time APBA Hall of Champion inductee in mod and pro categories. He is proud to have won 700 Runabout in Dubuque, Illinois for the 4th time, where he also took a first place and 1100 Runabout. 500 Mod Hydro was his main focus, and in 2021, all of his hard work paid off as he took the High Point Championship, Eastern Championship, and Central Divisional Championship titles.
If I'd have known Erin was going to do that well, I'd have went out before her. I also could have brought 10 pairs of shoes if she didn't bring so much makeup. Six years ago, almost to the date, Mr. Mike Thurlby asked me if I wanted to drive a 700 Runabout full time. Of course, anyone that knows me knows I really don't ever turn down a boat ride. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Other than practically turning me into an alcoholic, they made me a very good boat racer and even a better person. And I cannot thank the Thurlby automotive team in general enough, which that's pretty much the whole pro pits fits under that umbrella. But they have not only brought me into their family, but my family and my future family as well. And they do anything and everything for me, and I cannot thank them enough for everything they've done for me. I had a lot of goofy work hours this year, and if it weren't for my dad, I could not have accomplished anything this year. I cannot tell you how many times I showed up to a boat race. Not only was my boat and motor already set up, but my boat would be waxed, and he would have to tell me how clean it is now that he works on it, and this, that, and the third. But I would not be up here without him, and I would not, once again, be the person I am today without him in my life. I would also like to thank the Buzzkirks and the Walks and everyone else in Pro Outboard. They have welcomed me with open arms, and I cannot thank them enough. I also need to thank the Boat Rights and Steve Dunn Racing, Mark O'Brien and Herb Lamphere, and everyone at What's Up Doc Racing. They always kept me properly fed like they do Rick, and they're some of the most gracious people that I know as well. And I know I'm forgetting a million other people. There's not enough time in the world for me to thank everyone that has helped me at one time or another in my racing career. So just know if you've ever touched a boat, motor, or a prop, especially this past season, I thank you.
Don't be knocking the makeup. Have you seen your shoes? God. Whew. That's fine. This has been a year for first for Grant Schubert. He won his first national champion, his first North American championship, And now, first time being inducted into the Hall of Champions. Let's give him a round of applause. Grant Schubert.
Grant Schubert has always wanted to follow in his grandfather and father's racing footsteps. He was eager to start racing at 9 years old. After a few years in J Hydro, he moved up to SST 45 class, where he evolved quickly. This year, his two highlights were winning his first national championship title at Springfield, Ohio, and winning the North American Championship in Lake Havasu, Arizona. His many wins over the season earned him the National High Point Championship in SST 45 for APBA and NGK F1 Series.
I want to thank APBA for letting me be a part of something like so special, and I'm very honored to be here with everybody, and I couldn't get here by myself, and it took a lot of work and a lot of time and dedication to get here, and I didn't do it alone, and there's a lot of people I need to thank. First off, I want to thank my Uncle Mike. He is the greatest crew chief ever. He's helped me learn racing lines, learn how to pass people the right way, and it's helped me become better as a racer overall than anything I've ever done. So thank you to him. I want to thank my grandpa because he has probably become the best woodworker, because I have put giant holes in the side of my boat many times this year. As you can see, every picture up there, the boat was never completely painted. I want to thank him for that. I want to thank my dad and Tim for putting on great races for me to go to all year. It's given me the opportunity to be up here and race good races against good competition. They do a really good job, and they work really hard to make good races, and I want to thank them for that. I want to thank my longtime friend, Jeremiah Mayo. When I was a young kid at 9 years old, he was the biggest inspiration for me to continue racing J Hydro at the time and move up into 45 and move up into Tri-Hole and continue to race and work hard on all these races that I go to. And those people right there are so special to me, and I just can't thank them enough. And they've done so much for me over my entire boat racing career, and I don't plan to stop anytime soon. So hopefully I will see y'all again. Thank you.
Another successful year, tons of testing time, has paid off with numerous checkered flags in the 93 Skelton Racing Pro Tunnel Boat. Congratulations, Mr. R.J. West.
R.J. West kicked his 2021 season off with a hat trick weekend, winning all of his qualifying heats and taking both main event checkered flags at the two-round race in Port Neches, Texas. He powered his 200 XS Mercury Racing Optimax motor past the rest of the 21 boat field to the checkered flag once again at the OPC Nationals in Springfield, Ohio. He continued his good fortune with 2 more wins in New Martinsville, West Virginia and Chautauqua, Wisconsin. He had 16 qualifying heats and 5 main event wins in the Premier Tunnel Boat class with Chuck Skelton Racing. This is his 5th time being inducted into the APBA Hall of Champions in the OPC category.
First off, I'd like to thank all the staff and the volunteers at the American Powerboat Association, even their abnormally large President Chris Fairchild. I'd also like to offer congratulations to all the award winners and all the inductees here for your outstanding years and the careers of all the honor inductees. All you Hall of Champions guys are actually my heroes. I mean, I follow you guys throughout the year just as much as I follow my own racing. I'd like to thank all the organizers, the race committees, the scorers, inspectors, rescue teams, and all the volunteers that really put in an incredible amount of work, long before we pull our trailers in the pits and way after we pull our trailers out of the pits. These guys work tirelessly for us. I'd obviously like to thank the crew that's helped me all this year: Dean Comer, Angie Jolly, Jason and Trish Turner, Tim King, Craig and Ellie Scheid, and my brother Warren, and all the other many that have pitched in throughout the year. They all played a part in one of the greatest seasons that I've had in my career. I also obviously have to say that thanks aren't even really enough for Chuck Skelton. This man's basically the main reason why I'm here tonight. He's one of the main reasons I'm doing what I'm doing. He's my friend, he's a mentor, he's a racer at heart, and he's an incredible owner. And he knows what it takes to get this done and to compete at the level that we compete. He turns down nothing when we need it. When we need to go fast, he knows what we need, and he provides it. I get a lot of the praise for what we do when we race throughout the year, but none of this happens without Chuck and our team. Another huge thanks goes out to Dave DeWald and DeWald Props and his dad for the black magic that they provide us every year with the propellers and all the advice and friendship that he's given to me throughout the years, and a hero of mine as a child. As far as our year, we had an incredible year. It started out by seeing all of our hard work in the year off, in the time off in the COVID year. We scored 2 perfect rounds in the first 2 rounds of the NGK series. We won pole at both races, all 3 qualifiers, and both finals. And it was incredible at that. The year stopped then, but later on we were able to capture the Formula 200 National Championship in Springfield, Ohio. To have a chance to drive one of these incredible F1 machines was barely a distant goal or dream for me, but now to have had the chance to not only drive one, but compete and win at this level is something that I honestly would have never imagined. When I was younger, I was just a kid drawing pictures of runabouts and hydros in the margins of my notebooks, and that's probably why I'm still racing boats. I didn't pay attention in school. But that's all right, because this sport has given me so much in my life, and I'm happy to call all of you my strange, caring, and sometimes dysfunctional family. So thank you, and good luck in 2022.
This driver said, when I gave him an interview, what was your best part of the season? He said the magic began at Stock Mod Junior Nationals in Springfield, Ohio, when he placed first out of 28 of the strongest competitors. From Yakima, Washington, Sean Byrne.
Sean Byrne reaches the APBA Hall of Champions for the first time. He finished in the top 5 in 3 of the 5 classes he raced in 2021. Focusing on his main classes, he finished 2nd in B Stock Hydro, 2nd in 20 Super Stock Hydro, and 4th in 350 Hydro. At the Stock Nationals, he claimed the championship of B Stock Hydro and finished 4th in 20 Super Stock Hydro. Byrne rounded off his 2021 season by setting the 3-mile, 3-lap record in the B Stock Hydro class in Yelm, Washington at just over 59 miles per hour.
Thank you. At the age of 61, I can say that it is a thrill and an honor to be here in Florida to be inducted into the APBA Stock Outboard Hall of Champions. My racing story begins about 16 years ago. I'm not from a racing family, and I was not really looking to get into racing. I grew up on a lake, and my kids were at an age where I was actually looking for a lake racer for them. And in looking, I met Darren Goring, who was selling one of his beautiful C Stock hydros. And he told me he'd be racing it his last time down in Orville. And he said if I was interested, I could meet him down there. So I grabbed my 70-year-old dad, and we went for a trip, and we watched racing all weekend. And I went down with the intention of bringing back a lake racer, and I actually came back with the bug to race. And I've got to thank the core group of people around me. First and foremost, my wife for giving me the freedom to go out there and play with boats. Thank you, Cindy. And Lee Sutter, who has been an awesome mentor and taught me a ton. Craig Selvage has helped out all year long, and especially down at the kilos. Rick Christensen, who lives on a lake, and we have the opportunity to be able to test there, and I spend a lot of time over at Rick's house, and I got to thank his wife Dana as well, because she puts up with both of us. And a special thanks to Chris Sutter for all of his support and generosity. Thank you.
After a great year of back and forth battling for points with Jimmy Shane, competitor Jimmy Shane, J. Michael Kelly clinched the title of the 2021 High Point winner in the U8 Strong Pain West Insurance in the H1 Unlimited category. J. Michael Kelly is a third-generation driver who started his career in 1988 as a young J driver. He quickly moved up the ranks, racing nearly every outboard class available before moving on to multiple inboard classes. He has collected numerous high points, broken speed records, and countless national podium finishes in the outboard and inboard racing. In 2004, he was offered the dream ride of an H1 Unlimited. In 2021, new Unlimited hydroplane owners Daryl and Vanessa Strong announced J. Michael Kelly would be their winning driver in the U8 Strong Pain West Insurance team. At the end of 2021, J. Michael collected 5,605 points and was named the Driver High Point winner. This is Kelly's 8th time inducted into the Hall of Champions, but first time in the Unlimited category.
They're right, you can't see anything up here. My year's been a crazy year, life-changing events, racing, life in general. I was presented an opportunity this year to drive for a new racing team through Daryl and Vanessa Strong. They've blessed me with an amazing race team, fast equipment, amazing crew. The guys and gals that work on my race team, I would not be up here if it wasn't for them. I mean, it's definitely a team effort. It's not just the guy behind the wheel, it's the guys that work really hard on the boat. Brian Haney, my crew chief, team manager, he assembled an amazing race team. Really got to thank him. My entire crew, the Corey Peabody, my teammate, the entire 9 team. It's a 2-boat team that we run. So there's a lot going on at our race shop year round. And I got to thank my wife, of course, and my boys for allowing me to do this. It's crazy to think. This time last year, I was taking my wife home from the hospital. It was a little over a year ago that my wife had a brain aneurysm after Thanksgiving. And, I didn't know if I'd ever be racing again. I didn't know what our life was going to be like. There was a lot in, but she's sitting right there. And, I feel very lucky that I have my St. Angela and that our boys have their mom, in that she's here getting to watch me embarrass myself, give a speech, something that I'm not very good at. You know, I'll be forever grateful for all of you, my boat racing family. It was really hard last year, and I definitely couldn't have gotten through this. My family couldn't have gotten through this if it wasn't for all of you, and that's what makes this sport so special, is the people that are involved in it. And you know, so I will be forever grateful for each and every one of you, and yeah, thank you.
Breaking records, winning nationals, and taking first in high point, Jared Pavlik was a man on a mission in 2021.
Jared Pavlik has been inducted into the APBA Hall of Champions 4 times in the junior category, and now will be celebrating his first induction in the stock outboards category. In 2021, he broke a speed record in a stock runabout on the 3/4 mile course at 47.487 miles per hour, and on the 1 mile course with a speed of 49.774. His speed and crafty driving landed him 2 high point championships and 2 national championships in A-Stock Hydro and A-Stock Runabout.
Thank you, everyone who's helped put on this event. 2021 was an amazingly fun and exciting year of racing that I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of. A lot of people helped me get here, but I just want to touch on a few particular people that are really the reasons why I'm going to be able to be up here. First, I want to thank my mom. My mom supports me in everything that I do, and the amount of work she does to help me and my brothers is truly incredible. It is one of the only reasons Mikey and I are able to be up here tonight. In addition to my mom, I want to thank my younger brothers, Will and Ben, for constantly supporting our racing and helping whenever they can. On top of my immediate family, I'd like to thank my grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles for always being supportive. I would also like to say a special thank you to my Uncle Bill for the amazing work he does to put on races, and all the other scorers, referees, and anyone else who helps to make this amazing sport we love possible. A special thank you to the Olson family. The amazing generosity and support I have received from the Olson family from this racing season and truly my entire life has meant the world to me. And I'm very blessed to have friends as fun and supportive as the Olson family. A huge thank you to Tom Smith for all the help he has given me this season, especially on such short notice all the time. It really helped a lot this season. Thank you to my girlfriend Jackie for constantly supporting my racing. Driving with me to most of my races in the second half of the season, and playing a huge role in making the season so fun and special. This could not have happened without her. And last but not least, a huge thank you to my dad and older brother Mikey. I'd like to thank my dad for giving me everything he has to support the success of me and my brothers. He inspires me every day to chase my deep dreams, and through boat racing has shown me just how much is possible through hard work and putting your mind to something. I'd like to thank my brother Mikey for all he has done to ensure I can be as successful in every class I race, even the classes he races me in. In the season, EU was the only reason I was able to get all my equipment to my race, make sure I was fast in every class I raced, and truly was one of the only reasons I'm able to be up here tonight. Being inducted to the Hall of Champions is an amazing honor and something I'll cherish forever, and is only something topped by the memories I had and the fun I had this season with the people around me. Thank you, and have a great night.
Mikey Pavlik walked away from 2021 with an outstanding 18,000 points.
Mikey Pavlik had a busy year. He is the 2021 National High Point winner in 20 Super Stock Hydro and C Stock Hydro. He also competed in B Stock Hydro, 350 Mod Hydro, and 15 Super Stock Hydro, collecting over 18,000 points this year. He is the 2021 C Stock Hydro Eastern Champion, National Champion in 300 Super Stock Hydro, and the 20 Super Stock Hydro. He finished second in C Stock Hydro at the Nationals this summer. His many travels have earned him the Marine Race Club Waldman High Point Award and the APBA Gerald Waldman Award for the most points in a single stock outboard class.
So I think I'm last, and Jared covered a lot of it, so I can't promise James Luce's speech short, but I'll try and keep this relatively short. So a couple weeks ago, I sat down to write this, and I wanted to be, insightful, thought-provoking guy, but, when it really came down to it, so many people put in a lot of time, effort to make this happen that really all my time up here needs to be spent thanking them, celebrating them. First group I'd like to thank is all of our volunteers, race directors, scorers, inspectors, referees, risk managers, board and committee members, people going to get permits, people going setting up food vendors, Ken Falzer, the people building websites, doing promotion, all that stuff. I'm going to be honest, it sucks. We put on a race this year. It is no fun, but we should really be using tonight, not to sound cheesy, to be celebrating them for all they do. We get to do the fun stuff, so thank you to all of them. More specific to my season, I have a ton of people to thank. First, John Corbis, Jeff Scheffler, Jerry Davids, Craig DeWald, and Vic Brinkman for all they've done for me. Definitely couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to thank all my extended family for the years of love and support, grandparents, aunts, uncles, Jared's girlfriend Jackie, cousins. You guys are all some of my biggest fans, and I really couldn't do it without you guys and all your support. The Olson family, also for all their support, generosity. It's been really fun kind of getting back together, racing a bunch, and I'd like to thank Tad, honestly, for just being a life inspiration. I'd also like to thank El Presidente, Chris Fairchild, not only for all that he does for me, all the long nights in the shop, but for doing a lot of this, making sure we can race and do all the fun stuff. I'd also like to thank Joe and Marianne Pater. Outside of my family, Joe has probably been the most instrumental to any racing success that I've had. I'd also like to thank Marianne for putting up with all this, and probably most importantly, not thinking it's weird that her 69-year-old husband hangs out with a college student so much. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my family. My mom for the years of support, putting up with all of our shenanigans. To have 4 sons, you kind of got to be a saint regardless, but to live with 5 lunatics like us, it's a whole different ballgame, and I can't thank you enough for making all this happen. My fellow inductee and teammate Jared for all the help and being the best teammate I could ask for. It's been so much fun having you back, seriously racing again, and can't wait to see what you continue to do. I'd like to thank my brothers Will and Ben for something a little different. I'd like to thank them for their relentlessness. Those two work harder than anyone I know, and their constant pursuit of perfection and domination, not just in baseball, but honestly in everything in life, is something that really inspires me. Try and do that one last test session, one last run, and it's something we definitely feed off of, and I can't thank you guys enough. Last person definitely need to thank is my dad. He's the maestro. He's the reason for a lot of our success up here. He's a driving force between a ton of people's success, but definitely the biggest reason for mine. I'm just beyond blessed and honored to be kind of your protege, I guess you could say, and I can't thank you enough, not just for what you've done in racing, but just everything in life. And I know the second we get home, we're already designing the next boat, and I'm excited to see what we can do in 2022. Thank you.
In closing tonight, I would like to read a quote from Matthew McConaughey. There are 3 things that I need to in my account every day. 1 is something to look forward to. Another is someone to look up to. And a 3rd is someone to chase. As you walk out the door tonight, I ask you to ask yourself, what are you looking forward to? Who will you look up to? And who will you chase in 2022? It's been an honor to be here tonight, to be a part of this Hall of Champions banquet. I wish everyone safe travels home. Congratulations to all of our awards winners. All of that hard work paid off, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 2022.